nobody's telling men their feelings and experiences are all privileged and toxic. This is a red pill straw man people make to discount feminism. Well, hold on. Nick, can you search Wikipedia for toxic masculinity and male privilege? Because these are terms that are essentially coined by feminists, and male privilege is like a pretty solid tenet of like feminism.
So there's a couple of things to dissect here. So toxic masculinity, no one's saying that, oh, every guy is toxic or masculinity is inherently toxic. The concept of toxic masculinity is that it can be toxic. So for example,
Can femininity be toxic?
yeah, it can.
But so why don't we just say, because some people, men might get confused and take it to mean that masculinity is toxic. Wouldn't it be much more productive to just remove the masculinity from it and just say there are toxic individuals?
The problem is that it's certain tenets of masculinity that when taken to the extreme become toxic. So you could say toxic individuality, but the problem is that men are doing these things in the name of manlyhood that end up being toxic.
Women do that.
But do you agree that
there's toxic femininity.
Do you agree that there's a large amount of men who might view the word toxic masculinity as if it means that all masculinity is toxic or that masculinity is toxic?
I agree. That is definitely an optics and perception challenge, and the word,
Sure.
we should probably find better words to describe this
So
idea.
why not just toxic individuals?
Because again, it comes from taking the tenets of masculinity to an extreme. So for example, there are some men who are like, oh, you know, men should not cry, like, at all. Like, if you cry, you're weak. Like, you're a pussy. Like, you can't do that. If you do that, you're less of a man.
Or guys that don't like a finger in their butt. That's toxic.
No, I don't consider that toxic.
What? Disavow. I don't think that that's toxic masculinity.
No, it definitely is. That's my definition anyways.
No.
Just to be clear, your definition of toxic masculinity is they don't want to get pegged. Is that?
Yes. Basically.
Okay, good. I'm glad
They're
that.
not open
Thank
to
you for
butt
help.
stuff. That's definitely toxic.
If a guy's not open to butt stuff, that's toxic masculinity. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Disagree with that one, but well, I mean, I think there is something to be said for stoicism, and I don't think men should. I think it's here. Let me put it from the like a context of dating. I would argue that if you were fairly early on into a courtship process with a woman and you cried, I would say that a lot of women would not be very attracted to that.
Yeah, I think it's...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said about like not being too extreme in general, but I think if a woman is like turned off because the guy cried in front of them, I think that's horrible on the woman. I think she's a red flag.
I love when men cry. I think it's so attractive.
Me too.
I think it's
because it's like it's
You're
like
being
you have
vulnerable with
feelings.
you.
You're a
I
human.
love
like
vulnerable men.
I wouldn't say I love it, but it's a normal emotion.
What's that like?
Like you're human.
This is
What's
cap.
wrong with
it's
crying?
total cap. It's
not
total
cap.
cap.
Why
really
is that
not.
cap?
No,
It's so
here's
strong.
why it's not cap, okay? SpongeBob. We
Tell
all
us,
saw
Mom.
SpongeBob. Okay, Pearl's 16th birthday. Who did she have a crush on? The boy band Boys Who Cry. Okay? Women like boys who cry.
Why do you think that's cap?
I mean, you see it in, what is it, dramas too, or like media that's like for women. Like when the guy is being vulnerable with you and like crying, like, yeah,
That's
women
so
like
attractive. Because
Girls-
I love when a man is angry.
That's an interesting
Okay,
one.
that's
actually,
different.
yeah, that's actually like,
No, I'm like slap me in the face.
okay.
I'm like beat me up. Okay.
I think in general, people aren't attracted to extremes, generally speaking.
yeah.
So, you know, a woman might like it when a guy cries, but if he's having like a total like temper tantrum, like
yeah, if
throwing
it's like
things
all the
around,
time.
then
Or if he's just a
that's too
whingy
extreme.
bitch. That's not vibe.
But I think there is like a level where it is like attractive.
I feel like if women get the ick over a guy crying, it's not necessarily because he's crying. It's because maybe he's crying over something stupid.
Yeah.
And if the reason is stupid, then that gives you the ick.
Women cry
wouldn't-
about stupid
wouldn't
things
that-
too, though.
I agree.
I
Wouldn't-
cry about
but-
really stupid
but-
things.
Same.
Doesn't that almost counter the point? Like, you're saying he's crying over something stupid. I mean, what if it's not stupid to him?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
a
I think that's a red flag on the woman.
Build an
I
emotional
agree.
connection in a relationship, and I personally think if a man is too scared to cry in front of a woman that he's pursuing, then he's not emotionally intelligent enough
Yeah.
to be in a relationship.
Or open.
Yes.
Not emotionally open. Yeah.
I would see it as like a man being emotionally stunted if he didn't cry in the face of like a death close to him,
Yeah.
like a parent
I think
or
that's
something.
valid, but like, I'm thinking of some other scenario where a guy would cry.
I mean, what is not
Like in a
valid?
breakup or something. Like
Lost
I feel
his
like that's
credit card.
normal.
I'm trying to
Crying
think.
'cause of
I'm
how much they
trying
care
to
about
think
you. That'd be a bit
of
funny.
a scenario where like
Really? Oh no.
there's
That
nothing
I'd be like,
coming to
ick.
me, but like here's another example with this vulnerability thing. Let's say you witnessed your boyfriend get beat up. It was a one-on-one. It wasn't like he got jumped, but like somehow he got involved in the fight, and it was mutual combat. So it wasn't like he got sucker punched, but like somehow he gets engaged in the fight, and he got fucked up, and you witness it. You're gonna be a little turned. I think you're gonna lose attraction
My
for
first
him.
instinct is I want to take
Why?
care of my wounded soldier.
Yeah.
It's sorry
So
for sounding
bad.
TradCon, but like, yeah, like, oh my god, person I love is her.
Sophia,
Yes.
you see your guy get absolutely fucking scorched in a fight, and you see him in the fencing position. I don't want to make fun of this because people actually get fucking brain damage from the violent alter. But do you guys know what the fencing position is?
No.
Yeah.
You ever seen someone get in a fight? They get
Yeah.
knocked out. That's like significant brain damage. They probably have a TBI. I'm pretty sure if you saw your boyfriend get knocked out and he's in the fencing position, you're going to lose attraction for him.
I disagree.
No, my mama
Did he start the
instincts would
fight?
come out. I would
You might
get
be
so
concerned. I
mad.
think you'll be concerned for him.
I
I think a
was
woman would be
worried.
turned off if he lost a fight that he started.
Yeah.
If he lost a fight that
yeah.
he
He's
started,
talking a
then
lot.
fine.
If he's
If
the
he didn't
victim,
start the
though,
fight and it was basically not a sucker punch, but like
Okay. Question. Let's say you're out at a bar, club, and some other drunk dude steps to you, and I don't know, the guy, I'm trying to think, he says something nasty to you or
The
something.
guy started the fight.
Would you want your boyfriend to intervene on your behalf?
no, because I feel like
No.
they're escalating it, and that makes it more unsafe.
What if okay.
That's an
What if-
example of toxic masculinity right there. Is
Yeah.
if a guy insisted on escalating that bar fight right there instead
Because
of
it's
walking
not
away,
even to you.
because you're making it harder and less safe for us to get out of the situation, all in the name of preserving your like a male ego.
Well, I'm not
Because
advocating. I'm not advocating that the response to another man insulting your girlfriend is necessarily to start a fight, but that was perhaps the lowest level thing I could think of. There's perhaps other scenarios where it could be warranted for the man to perhaps initiate a fight, or he might feel so compelled due to the disrespect that perhaps the man touched you in some way inappropriately.
Sure.
Yeah, but
Perhaps
that's
that
for
might
the
be
women
more
to decide.
warranted.
It's not really up to my boyfriend if I feel disrespected or not.
I feel like it's valid. It's like a protective instinct.
Like,
yeah, but
I
the guy
get-
might have a protective
I think it's
instinct.
like-
I mean, that's
but then he
fine, but
gets
it's
scorched up in the fight or something.
Like if you were with like a girlfriend
I
at a
don't know.
club and like a